Hello everyone. Welcome to the solution of LeetCode problem 1496 named path crossing. In this problem, we are given a string path where each of the character can be either N, S, E or W, which stands for north, south, east and west respectively. Now, you start at the origin 0, 0 on a two-dimensional plane and work on the path specified by the given input. Now we have to return true if the path crosses itself at any point. That is, if at any time you are on a location you have previously visited, otherwise we have to return false. Suppose in the first example, if I start my journey from these 0, 0 positions and if I go north, then east, then south, there are no common meeting point, right? So here, notice that the path does not cross any point more than once. So here we have to return false. But if we see into this second example, if I start from these initial positions, then go to north, then east, then south, then west and west, then there will be a meeting point which is the origin. That means notice that the path visits the origin twice. So here we can say that we have to return true. Now I hope you understood the problem statement. Now the constraint are the string length can be in between 1 to 10 to the power 4 and each of the character is either N, S, E or W. I hope you understood the constraint. Now let's move on to the algorithm. Now let us try to understand the example by using the second example. Here the string is north, east, south, west and west. So this is the direction, right? So now if I try to draw the axis, then initially we are presented here. Now we all know that this is the east direction, this is the west direction, this is the north direction and this is the south direction. Now suppose currently our coordinate is 0 and 0. We are taking one set of pairs where we will insert all of the visiting coordinate while traveling into the two-dimensional grid. Initially, we have inserted here 0 and 0 because it is our starting positions. Now, we have to go 1 unit north. So here we have to go in this direction. So for this point, the coordinate will be 0 and 1. Because we are going 1 unit upwards, that's why the y-axis value is incremented by 1. Now we have to go 1 unit east. So here for these positions, the coordinate value will be 1 and 1 because here the coordinate value of x is 1, then the coordinate value of y is also 1. So now we have to go 1 unit south, which is this position. This is south. Now for these positions, the coordinate value will be 1 and 0 because we are decreasing the coordinate by 1. Now we have to move 1 unit west. So if we move 1 unit west, we will end up into the starting position again. Now for this, the coordinate value will be 0 and 0. But wait, there is already an entry in the set where the coordinate value 0 and 0 is still presented. So that's why we came up to a point where we have visited earlier. In this kind of situations, we have to return true. Now, I hope you understood the algorithm. The algorithm is pretty simple. For each of the direction, north, south, east, and west, we have to calculate their coordinate value, which is the value of x and y, and we have to insert it into the set. But before inserting, we have to check whether this particular coordinate value already presented in the set or not. If this particular coordinate value is still presented in the set, that means we have visited this cell before. In this case, we have to return true. Otherwise, we have to return false. I hope you understood the algorithm. Now let's move on to the code. Now, the code is pretty simple. At first, we are given a function named isPathCrossing, which has a parameter string. Now we are using set of pairs, and initially we are inserting the pair 0 and 0 because it is our origin or the starting position. Now we have to iterate each character of the given path, and if our current path is north, that means we have to go upwards. That's why the value of the y-axis increased. And if our current character is south, that means we have to go downwards. That means we have to decrease the value of y. And if our direction is east, that means in this case we have to go rightward. That means we have to increase the value of x. And if we currently value is west, that means we have to go leftward and we have to decrement the value of x. But before inserting the pair of x and y, we have to check whether this corresponding x and y is already presented in the set or not. If it is presented, that means we have already visited this point earlier. In this case, we have to return true. Otherwise, we have to simply return false. I hope you understood the code. Now let's move on to the time and space complexity analysis of this program. In this program, the time complexity is big O of n because we have to iterate each of the direction of the input string, and the space complexity is also big O of n because we have to use a set data structure, and in the worst case, the size of the set can be equal to the size of the input string. That's why the space complexity is also big O of n. Thank you everyone for watching this video. We will get back soon with another LeetCode solution.